What is going on, guys? Welcome to Greggles TV. In this video, we're going to talk about if Samsung is going to do the same thing that they did with their S23 launch of the phone when they released the Galaxy Z Fold 5. And what I'm talking about is the trade-in values. Are we going to see a repeat of really low trade-in values when the Galaxy Z Fold 5 comes out versus, again, what they did with the S23. And I think there's a yes and a no to that. And I think there's factors that fill in that potentially we might see the same thing and then might not see the same thing as well. So let's get into some of those reasons. I think reason number one would be if they do the same thing, if they give us 50% less trade-in value when you buy the phone directly through Samsung and you buy it unlocked. Now, I still think if you get the carrier edition of the phone, you'll still get fairly good trade-in values. You'll probably get $800, maybe all the way up to $1,000 of trade-in credits if you get the Galaxy Z Fold 5 through your carrier and trade in a fairly new phone. I don't think that will pretty much change, so I wouldn't worry about the carrier side because carriers always want to get new customers, and for them, they're going to lock you into a contract anyway. Even though they don't call it a contract, it is a contract. If you leave, you have to pay off the difference of the phone because they're basically giving you credits when you get it through the carrier, and they're giving you $1,000 off. They're just giving you a credit every single month over the course of how many months it is. So if they're giving you $1,000 credit, you divide that by whatever, a 24-month or a 36-month contract, and you're getting like what, $25-30 off per month off that. So that's why the carriers can generally offer you a better deal sometimes than the actual manufacturer of the phone, such as Samsung, when you buy it unlocked. So I think you might see a similar thing because Samsung's doing bad. We've not doing bad per se like versus some other companies, but they're not making as much money profit-wise as they have had in the past. Profits are at an 8-year all-time low, and things probably won't change all that much due to a couple of reasons. One, phones are getting better and better every year. You don't need to upgrade as much. There's really not a lot of differences that come to phones year over year anymore like there has been in the past. People's income is down because the economy hasn't been that great. Things are more expensive just generally in life. You look at eggs. Eggs are really expensive here in the United States right now. Gasoline is really expensive. Almost everything is. A bag of chips used to be a couple of bucks. Now it's like $6, $8, $9 for a bag of chips when it was literally $3 or $4 before. So all that stuff has increased and people are putting less emphasis on wanting to upgrade their phones, which in return, Samsung maybe can't offer as much trade-in value as they had in the past, which I don't think is good. I think when you give people something, you rip it away from them, it creates a bad relationship. If you do that with anybody in your life, you give them something all the time and then you rip it away, they're going to get pissed, and Samsung's customer base is getting upset. Where I see that you actually might get up to $1,000 in trade-in credits like we have in the past with Galaxy Z Fold phones is that I think Samsung, and this could be the reason why they did it with the S23 phones, is that they want to get people onto folding phones. They want people to get onto flipped phones, and that potentially is why they would increase the trade-in values for those phones more so that you can get more money for your trade-in and more apt to buy those phones. Those phones are more expensive. The profit margins are going to be continually bigger, especially if they keep the prices high on those folding phones versus the traditional slab phones. So they might do that. And also they want that. It's a big market. There's a big untapped market to the folding line. That folding line is, when you compare it to slab phones, is really small. It's tiny. So potential-wise, there's a lot of growth that come from those lines, and those phones, as they produce them, are going to get cheaper to make for them as more people buy them, which means that their profits will get more. It is still a phone not for everybody. I agree with that, but I still think it's the phone of the future. Those folding and flip phones are going to get thinner and lighter and more sexy and have more features and be more premium. They will. It's bound to happen. It will happen as time goes on. And I think that potentially could be a reason why the trade-in values for the Fold line are going to stay really, really high, up to $1,000 versus what they did on the S23 phones. But other than that, I can't think of a reason, and I'm torn at this point. Like, I don't know which way to go. Part of me says, you know what, we won't see the credits like we did in the past for those folding phones because we didn't see it with the S23 launch. But then part of me says, like, maybe we will, because Samsung sees how unhappy and how low the sales are most likely going to be on the S23 line versus what they were on the other previous lines of the S line. Now that trade-in values are so bad, they might get scared and be like, you know what, let's bring back the good trade-in values. That was obviously a big selling point for customers to upgrade every single year. And that might bring the masses. But if they don't, I think this is gonna be another drop again. I think this is hard times potentially coming to Samsung, and people won't buy these phones. And I wanna know what you guys think. Do you think Samsung will bring back the great trade-in values of the past when they launch the Galaxy Z Flip 5 and Fold 5? Or do you think they're gonna, where those times are over and we're gonna have fairly low trade-in values if you buy an unlocked phone, and that the only way of getting a potential good price is if you get locked into a contract with the carrier, which I would not recommend, to have the bloatware on there that the carrier gives you, to have all the branding of the phone on there from that company. It's just bad. It looks bad. I don't know why Samsung, I know why Samsung allows it, because Samsung wants that money that the carrier's paying them, or allowing them to make more money on the sale. But it's just, to me, it's just ugly. Apple doesn't allow for it. You don't get an Apple phone, and when you start it up, you don't see carrier bloatware on there. You don't see carrier branding on there, nothing like that. And I don't think Samsung should do that. The same thing. Samsung should copy Apple in that regard, not let the carriers do this. Let me know your thoughts. Have a great day, and we'll see you down the road. Peace.